بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. We start our session today. Our session, it's called a foundational session for the new Muslim woman. This program is called foundational session for the new Muslim woman. We talked about the pillars of faith, and then we talked about the five Islamic ruling. We talked about the five Islamic ruling, and today, inshallah, we're going to talk about the five pillars of Islam. So the first pillar is Shahada. The second pillar is establishing prayer. The third pillar is paying zakah. The fourth pillar is fasting. The fifth pillar is Hajj. We talked before about Ash-Shahada. So today, inshallah, we're going to talk about establishing prayer. So as a Muslim man or a Muslim woman, you must pray to Allah in no circumstances. Again, as a Muslim man or a Muslim woman, you must pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in no circumstances. So if you are ill, you must pray to Allah. If you are traveling, you must pray to Allah. Whatever the situation, whatever your circumstances, you must pray to Allah in no circumstances. The only excuse for the woman is menstruation. So the woman who is menstruating, or the woman in her postnatal bleeding, the woman who just gave a birth to a baby. So these two types of women, they don't pray, they don't fast, they don't have sexual intercourse with the husband. So we say the only excuse from praying is menstruation. If you are menstruating or if you are in postnatal bleeding, just to give a birth to a baby, you don't pray, you don't fast, you don't have sexual intercourse with the husband. And again, we say that as a Muslim man or a Muslim woman, you must pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in no circumstances. Muslim man or Muslim woman, pray to Allah in no circumstances. And we say the excuse for the woman that the menstruating woman does not pray, as we mentioned before. And here there is important rule that the menstruating woman makes up for fasting but doesn't make up for praying. So if the woman missed any days in Ramadan, why special Ramadan? Because fasting is obligatory in Ramadan. So if the woman missed any days in Ramadan, she must make up. So for example, if the woman missed 5 days or 6 days in Ramadan, after the Ramadan, this woman must make up. If she missed 5 days after Ramadan, she fasts 5 days. If she missed 6 days after Ramadan, she fasts 6 days, and so on, and so on. But the woman does not make up for praying. If the woman does not pray for 5 days or 6 days, when she finishes her menstruation, she takes a bath and she starts fresh. If it's the time of Dhuhr, she prays Dhuhr. If it's the time of Asr, she prays Asr. And she doesn't make up what she missed. She doesn't, as the Muslim woman, doesn't make up what she missed. But she makes up what she missed in fasting. If she missed any days in Ramadan, she makes up fasting. After this, we come to ablution. Before talking about prayer, we talk about ablution. Why? Because you cannot pray without ablution. In Arabic, wudu. In Arabic, wudu. In English, ablution. So now we talk about ablution. We say the conditions of ablution. That, of course, the man or the woman must be in a normal mental ability. Number 2 is intention. In any worship, you should have intention. What is intention? That in your heart you prepare, you decide to do something, but without pronouncing. In your heart you prepare, you decide to do something, but without pronouncing. So the first thing is you have intention in your heart. The second thing that, of course, water should be clean. And we'll talk about more detail in other courses. But for now, we say just the water should be clean. Number 3, that the water should touch the skin. What does it mean? If the woman has a nail paint on her finger or on her toes, she must remove the nail paint. She must, if she has manicure on the fingers or on the toes, she must remove this before ablution. Why? Because water should touch the skin. But if the woman has henna, there is no problem with henna. Why? Because henna does not prevent water from touching the skin. So again, the Muslim woman, before starting ablution, if she is having nail paint, manicure on the fingers or on the toes, she must remove them. But there is no problem with henna. Why? Because henna does not prevent water from touching the skin. After this, we come to the steps of ablution. We come to the steps of ablution. Now I share with you pictures to show you steps of ablution. Of course, these pictures are from book The New Muslim Guide. It's very easy if you like to go back to the book. As you see here, the first step in ablution is intention. The first step in ablution is intention. So the first thing is that you have intention in your heart. And then after this, you wash your hand 3 times. You wash your hand 3 times. After this, you clean your mouth. You take water into the mouth, move water into the mouth, and then spit water out. You do this 3 times. After this, you wash your nose. You take water deeply into the nose, and then you eject it out. You do this process 3 times. You do this process 3 times. And Prophet Muhammad said that teaches us that we take water deeply into the nose unless we are fasting. Why? Because if you are fasting, water may reach your throat. So if you are fasting, you don't take water deeply into the nose. You don't take water deeply into the nose. But if you are not fasting, take water deeply into the nose and then you eject it. You eject water to clean the nose. To clean the nose. Then you wash your face 3 times. Then you wash your right hand 3 times. You start from finger and you go to the elbow and even higher. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ teaches us that even you can go higher to clean your hand. So you start with your right hand and then you go to your left hand. Then you go to your left hand. And then you wipe your hair 1 time. As you see in the picture, you wipe your hair 1 time, just 1 time. With wet hand, you wipe your hair 1 time. Then you clean your ear 1 time. You can put, some scholar, you can put the forefinger inside the ear, and with the thumbs, you wipe behind the ear, or in any way, you clean the ear 1 time. You wipe with your wet hand, you wipe your ear 1 time. Then you come to your feet. You start with your right foot. You make sure that water, you let water between the toes. And of course, you wash your foot 3 times. You start with your right foot, then you go to your left foot. You do this 3 times. I forgot to say that when you start ablution, you say Bismillah. When you start ablution, you say it's Sunnah, guidance of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that when you start ablution, you say what? When you start ablution, you say Bismillah. So here, when you start ablution, you say Bismillah. And then you start ablution as we said. You start ablution as we said. You have intention, you say Bismillah. You wash your hand 3 times, your mouth 3 times, nose 3 times, your face 3 times. You wash the arm up to the elbow 3 times. You wipe your head 1 time. You clean your ear 1 time. you wash your feet 3 times. And of course, you do this in sequence, and you do not delay one part until the other part is dry. Now, after you finish ablution, and I'd like to say that if you do everything 1 time or twice, it's okay. But it's better to do everything 3 times to follow the guidance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After you finish ablution, it's sunnah to say the supplication, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa anna Muhammadan Abdullah wa Rasul. So again, after you finish ablution, you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa anna Muhammadan Abdullah wa Rasul. It means what? It means that I testify that there is no true God but Allah alone without any partners, and I testify that Prophet Muhammad is the servant and messenger of Allah. By this, you finish your ablution. And there are many hadiths of Prophet Muhammad to encourage Muslims to do ablution, to show the great reward from Allah when you perform ablution. When you do this for the sake of Allah, to clean, as the scholar says, ablution includes spiritual purity and physical purity. Why? When you clean your limbs, your arm, your face, your hand, your feet, this is physical purity. And when you mention Allah at the beginning, you say Bismillah, and you mention Allah at the end, because you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. So when you mention the name of Allah at the end, this is a spiritual purity. This is a spiritual purity. So as a scholar says, ablution includes both physical impurity and spiritual impurity. After this, we come to talk about minor impurity, as they call in Arabic, hadath asghar. In Arabic, hadath asghar. So minor impurity. What is minor impurity? There are some things, if they happen, they break your ablution. If they happen, they break your ablution. What are these things? Number 1, urine, stool, passing away. If you go to bathroom for urine or for a stool, or even if you don't go to the bathroom, but you pass when there is gas from stomach. If this happens, it means that you break your ablution. If this happens, it means that you broke your ablution. This number 1. Number 2 is deep sleeping. Deep sleeping. This is number 2. If you go into deep sleeping, you completely lose consciousness. This means that you broke your ablution. Number 3, if you eat camel's meat. Number 3, if you eat camel's meat. So if you are having ablution and then you eat camel's meat, it means that you broke your ablution. So after you finish eating, if you want to pray, when you want to pray or when you want to recite the Holy Quran, you do ablution again. You do ablution again. Number 4, if you touch private parts. Maybe you touch your own private part without a barrier, maybe private part of husband, maybe private part of a baby. If you touch a private part, this means that you break your ablution. Even if the private part of a baby, if you are cleaning a baby and you touch the private part of a baby without a barrier, this means that you broke your ablution. So again, if you want to pray or if you want to recite the Holy Quran, you have to do ablution again. You have to do ablution again. This is called minor impurity, hadath asghar, a small impurity. Things that if happen, they need, it means that you broke your ablution. If these things happen, this means that you broke your ablution. Now we come to major impurity, big impurity. There are some things, if they happen, this means that you need to take a bath. You must take a bath. You must take a bath. It's called major impurity, hadath akbar. Major impurity in Arabic language, hadath akbar. So what are these things? Number one, sexual intercourse. If there is sexual intercourse between the husband and the wife, and according to hadith of Prophet Muhammad, إذا التقى الختانان, if the private part of a man touches the private part of a woman, both of them, the man and the woman, must take a bath. If just the private part touch, the private part of a man touches the private part of a woman, both of them, the man and the woman, must take a bath. Must take a bath. This number one. Number two, ejaculation. What is ejaculation? Ejaculation means that the liquid comes out quickly and strongly from private parts. So if this happens, this may happen on purpose, and this may happen while sleeping. This may happen on purpose, and this may happen while sleeping. If it happens on purpose, or if it happens while sleeping, the person must take a bath. Man or woman, if this happened to a man or to a woman, it happens on purpose or it happens while sleeping, you must take a bath. You must take a bath. But of course, there is difference when we talk about fasting. Because if this happened on purpose, it means that you broke your fasting. But if this happened while sleeping, the fasting is still valid. The fasting is still valid. So, for example, in the day of Ramadan, someone take a rest in the middle of the day after Dhuhr or after Asr, and while sleeping, there was ejaculation. It means, of course, he or she must take a bath, but still the fasting is valid. But if this happened on purpose while fasting, it means you broke your fasting. We come back to the issue of ablution, if this happened while whether on purpose or while sleeping, it means that you must take a bath. You must take a bath. But there is a point here that sometimes there is pre-seminal. It is not ejaculation. It is not ejaculation. It's just pre-seminal. Some is taking drops in the private part. Some is taking drops in the private part. For any reason, there may be the person find some is taking drops in the private part. If the person find this is taking drops in the private part, he or she must take a bath? No, there is no need to take a bath, but just the person removes this is taking drops. The person removes this is taking drops and have ablution. That's enough. And have ablution. This about number two, ejaculation. Now we come to number three, menstruation or postnatal bleeding. The scholar deal with this as one issue. Menstruation, when the woman is menstruating, or postnatal bleeding, when the woman gives birth to a baby. So after the woman finishes menstruation or finishes